some control while you're there, especially with people that might be running around with the chickens with their heads cut off.
Right. And speaking of control and lack thereof, let's talk about the butcher now. Ah, chaos ensues.
This is not chaos. This is it's the fight. It's the
Patchwork
fun
2.0.
Right.
patchwork, focus, laser. It's fun.
All right.
There's
Well,
so much going on.
have at
It's
it, Air.
intense. Well, you sit there and you hit this big guy. It's fun, and obviously you're taking Serenity, you're taking Zuen. That's easy. So the other things you really want to be careful of here is you're just going to do all the damage you possibly can, and the one thing that you need to kind of pay attention to is how much damage you're taking. Because when he hits those cleaves, especially later on in the fight, it gets to be really, really bad. So you're going to really want to be using Touch of Karma. You can use it offensively, obviously, but, you want to be saving this for the kind of, that maybe second, into that third stack of the cleave you're getting, because I think it's usually, 3 groups, then 3, then 3, then 3 in normal and heroic. So use it at that 3 set. You're able to take that last cleave hit and a lot of that gushing wounds, that kind of really bad healing that you're going to be taking to help out with. Dampen Harm. 3 hits, 50% reduced damage. So that's 3 cleave hits right there. You can really reduce a lot on. It doesn't help you for gushing wounds, but it is really nice there too. So you're going to want to alternate those two because it's, about a minute and a half, 90-second cooldown for those? You can use Touch of Karma twice. You can use Dampen Harm twice. Fort Brew it's the big, the big cooldown. In this 4.5, 5-minute fight, you can use that twice as well. So you make sure you pop Fort Brew with that first set of stacks you're taking. So you do have it saved up for the end. In the end, that's where he starts hitting the hearts. He hits that 20% in rage. So you want to make sure that if you play with your timing, have Touch of Karma ready to go. Just for fun, have Dampen Harm ready to go. Have Fort Brew ready to go, because you're going to need all of it to stay alive. Because we're a little bit squishy right now. And, and especially in the lower gear, that's going to really hurt. So do everything you can to kind of help out your healers in that case, I'd say.
Yep.
All right. Any relevant glyphs or talent choices?
Serenity is good for burst on the pull, on heroism at 30%, anytime it's off cooldown. You definitely want to use Schwen for this one because there's only one target. You're not going to rushing Jade Wood to anything. Glyph of Fort Brew gives you an extra 5% damage reduction, and I believe there's an extra pro tip.
Extra pro tip here. So, Transcendence. Some people like to use Tiger's Lust, which is fine. It's good. It's good to get around if you get out of position. But Transcendence is the way you want to go here, because you get up to him, you start the fight, pop your little clone down. Yes, it is one little GCD, no big deal. And he does his little, get ready to move when everyone gets thrown back, right? As soon as you get thrown back, hit your transfer button, and you are immediately on him again with 0 downtime. When he runs away, repop your Transcendence, use that GCD there, because you can't hit him anyways, and there you go. Make everyone jealous about how awesome you are on that boss uptime. And it looks awesome when you just kind of, get thrown up and right back on him. It looks great.
And especially because that should put your spirit sitting up in the air. So it's always fun. All right, so for Mistweaver, just like Air said, Transcendence here. That's really the only tip, because otherwise you're just doing Renewing Mist on cooldown uplift. It's basically
this is the opposite of Kargath. In Kargath, you have some opportunities to fistweave.
Yeah.
In this one, if you fistweave, your raiders die.
Right. It's like I fistweave for the first 5 or 6 seconds just to get some Monity stacks, but as soon as that you get to 2 stacks of the gushing wounds, it's just like, all right, back in, get all those renewing mists out and start healing. Very simple rotation here, and not much you can really do besides renewing mists and uplift. So however, if your mana can sustain it, if you've got lucky and got some really good spirit drops, Rushing Jade Wind is going to do some fantastic healing on this, especially if your stacks are close enough. You'll be hitting 2 to 3 stacks of players and just healing like crazy. Also, Chi Burst. This might be a fight where you want to play with Chi Burst, because depending on where your positioning is and where you are at, you may be able to hit pretty much your entire raid and the boss with it on every cast. So it will do a little bit more than Chi Wave at that point. So, and Dampen Harm and Fortifying Brew, just like the Windwalkers, same thing. Help yourself out as a healer and help your other healers out by taking much, much less damage. All right, and going on to Brewmasters. Guanshu?
The first clever use of Muck Mechanics, that's totally a LeBlue thing, so I'm not 100% sure we'll do it. But I was going to say for talent and glyph choices, me and LeBlue use completely different setups, and I know my way is technically the wrong way. Because it's...
Did you live?
Well, not only do we live, but that's when I made the changes is when we actually took the boss down. So
well, then it's the right way.
For you.
Yeah.
Right. So for me...
We 3-stack Butcher. No one 3-stacks Butcher. We 3-stack.
Yeah. So what I ended up having to do is actually I went into really like a consistent heal and clearing off my shuffle damage. So what I ended up doing was I had to go and switch. I just brought them up real quick. So instead of using Chi Wave, I use Zen Sphere, and I know Zen Sphere isn't that great, but it sits on my head the entire fight.
Yeah.
And it gives me a consistent heal and saves me if I get a little low. I use this is where LeBlue's going to freak out. So I use Chi Explosion on this fight, and it's kind of hard to use properly because you never want to use it at 4 stacks because it's useless. So it's like you only can use it at 3. So it's a lot of getting to 3 and then using it to get rid of the shuffle damage. It worked out for us just because we were finding that there was way too much damage kind of going out there, and the healers needed a little bit of help because we are slightly undergeared and we are doing normal modes. So it was being able to consistently keep my shuffle damage just gone helped us a ton. And I know the numbers. The 3 gives you 6 seconds of your shuffle, where normally 6 seconds come from 2, but then you're also purifying, which is 1, so that's why it worked out for us. So if you're doing normal and you're having that trouble, give it a shot. It might work for your team. But like I said, never have 4 stacks available. 4 Chi available when you use it, because then you're just wasting 1.
Right. All right. If you're watching the video version, I was cutting back and forth to LeBlue and back, just LeBlue giving this face.
And LeBlue did say that it's good for damage, and that's the other problem we were having is we weren't putting out enough damage. So it solved those 2 problems for that type of a situation. So if you find yourself in a situation, you can try it out.
Okay. All right. I can't continue. LeBlue, go.
The look. This is the look on LeBlue's face. He just got told that not only was Jesus a midget, but also that his ass was on backwards.
Okay, so Guanshu mentioned it a little bit ago. So for my raid team, what we do is we actually have me soak one of the range stacks because monks are amazing at doing this crazy thing. You may have heard it before. It's called Transcendence. And for the Bounding Cleave sequences, you can actually use Transcendence plus your roll charges, and if you have like Tiger's Lust or even Momentum, probably be enough. And you can be out in the range group quick enough to soak it and back before the boss would even melee you, even if you're targeting it. And you can kind of reduce some of the damage that group takes from the cleave. And this becomes more important in the final 30% when he does this faster and faster. It just reduces that spike damage a little bit. The other big thing, too, is his tank debuff, Tenderizer. You need to make sure that you have guard stack ready to go to absorb that hit, because it is a pretty significant hit. Now then, talents. I take Serenity. And now my reasoning also, like Guanshu's, is for the reduction of damage. The benefit to Serenity is it allows me to very consistently purify without the issue of running out of chi and dropping shuffle potentially. The way it allows you to do this is that you can purify very rapidly. I can purify nearly every single melee swing and never drop shuffle. And with that, I clear a lot of stagger damage. I don't take a bunch. Mind you, I've only done this on normal and heroic, but I'm assuming the same for mythic, where he hits even freaking harder. That this talent's probably more preferable. Like Guanshu said, if you are having a DPS issue and your healers are capable of keeping you alive and you're not struggling with it, Chi Explosion's fine. Be aware you are trading tankiness for to do more damage. So if you're finding you're extra squishy, like squishy, it's probably not worth it. But if you can squeeze the extra damage and not hurt your raid group, it's fine. Recommend 99% of the time taking Serenity, though, because you will reduce a crap ton more damage because you're not purifying at fixed intervals and taking extra stagger ticks.
Okay. All right. Now,